trying to, you know, transition into some legitimate, just selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway. And from my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation, probably seen nobody was in the doorways, checked Hussle had on shorts, checked everybody else, left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt. Number two, when a nigga come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off, or the Bloods did it, or the Inglewood families did it, or the BPS, that's the throw off, red shirt. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shootout. And that's my thoughts on it. You understand? So
what's going on with all my billionaires out there? This the guy, Hoods Billionaire. Welcome to Hoods Billionaire TV. Big favor, big abundance. It's cool to be smart. Okay, on today's episode, man, this is gonna be a special episode. We're gonna be talking about that Blacc Sam interview, man. We're gonna be talking about this Blacc Sam interview where he finally breaks his piece on the situation of what really happened to Nip, man. You know, he sat down with Big Boy. You're not familiar with the the radio host Big Boy out in California, one of the biggest, if not the biggest out there on the West Coast. And he sat down for about an hour and a half interview and kind of just got some stuff off his chest and off his spirit, things that I did not know, and it makes you look at that situation a lot differently, right? So a lot of people were just saying, man, that just was some jealousy from Eric Holder. He was jealous. His girl wanted to take a picture with him, and it was just a lot of jealousy, going on. And he just ended up coming back and unaliving Nip because Nip called him a snitch. You know what I mean? And that it was like, okay, that can happen. Guys are jealous, especially they said the dude did drugs, was on crystal meth and all type of stuff. So you could see somebody being unstable having that type of reaction, right? And he was also known as a certified hitter and unaliver, you know what I mean? So that's one of those situations. But after listening to this interview, I do not think that was the case. I just can't see it, and it was a lot of things that came to light that I did not know. Okay, so first we're gonna start with Eric Holder, right? They said when he first got to the scene, he came with no shirt. He didn't have a shirt on when he first came around that first time, right? And he was talking to Nip. He didn't have a shirt. They say he was looking around, just peeping the scene, trying to see anybody had cameras, like just looking at people. And Blacc Sam felt like he was just trying to see who was armed, how many cameras was there, and what was the play, because he didn't really want to come into a gunfight. Even though he was sent there to crash out, he was still nervous and he was still afraid. If he could, he wanted to get out of there with his life, right? So he came with no shirt at first, right? And then when he came back, he had on a red shirt. Okay, once again, these are things I did not know. He had on a red shirt, and then Blacc Sam was saying that was the play, that was the trick bag, right? Like somebody coming up in a red shirt. They don't even sell red shirts in the 60s. They don't even sell red shirts in that whole area. There's nowhere you can get a red shirt, which is crazy. I didn't know that. I don't live in California, so I wouldn't know that. So yes, you can't even buy a red shirt over there. So he got the red shirt from a different section and then brought it with him with the intention of throwing off, everybody, and having them thinking that it was blood members that unalived Nipsey, right? So I didn't know that. I didn't know he came shirtless and then came back wearing a red shirt, right? Blacc Sam also was saying that the night before, that him, Nip, they cousin, and they father were out to eat for their cousin's birthday. and they were speaking on street politics because a lot of guys in the 60s were mad. You know, other members, they were upset that Nip brought DJ Khaled to the 60s, and you know, he didn't have to pay no fees, or he wasn't extorted, and you know, he didn't have to come up off of nothing, and people didn't like that. They felt like, you know, Nip was pressing a hard line where he felt like he was bigger than the program. Like, I guess that's a thing out there. Like, you can't come over to that section and you ain't paying nothing. Like, you gotta pay something. You pretty much gotta be extorted to go over there. That's kind of crazy. That's probably why LA kind of falling apart now, bro. Like, nobody's going for just being extorted, bro. I mean, I don't understand that. So, but they said there was a lot of politics behind that, and a lot of people were mad at Nip because it was on Nip. Nip frontlined it. Nip was the person that frontlined it and said nothing was gonna happen to Khaled, and they made sure nothing happened to Khaled. And he came to the 60s, he shot the video, and he left. You know what I mean? And he wasn't extorted, and he didn't have to pay no hood pass or nothing like that, right? And you heard a lot of people saying that it's bigger. No one man is bigger than the program. No one man is bigger than the program, and I believe that's the program that they have over there in the rolling 60s, man. Any celebrity, anything like that come through the hood, they gotta pay. And Nip didn't make them pay. He didn't pay. It was just a business thing. He was on a big song. Khaled put him on a big record that ended up winning a Grammy, right? And he made sure that Khaled was good. You know, so you know, that make you wonder about some. They was just talking about that the night before. So that mean that Nip was feeling pressure from that, you know, when it happened, right? Also, they were saying that Eric Holder was never seen in the hood for months. Blacc Sam said he never saw Eric Holder at no functions and he was saying anytime Nip do something from the 30s to the 60s, everybody was gonna show up and show out for Nip. He said he never saw that guy face. He said he had been he had seen that guy in a really long time. Right, his face was not being seen, and that's because the word on the street was he wasn't good in the hood. They were saying that he had a snitch jacket on him, and that he was not good in the 60s, and nobody never saw him anywhere around. Right, they never saw him. So they were saying he wasn't good, and he was never seen anywhere. Right, so that's something that make you wonder, like, man, like if this dude wasn't being seen, he wasn't around nowhere, and then he just popped up out of nowhere, you know. Had on a red shirt, you know, an unalive Nip. That do make you look at some questions, right? You also got to question the guy, the OG Carey guy. You know, was he sent to put eyes on Nip? You know what I'm saying? From what I had, I don't know who I said it or where I saw this information, so don't quote me on this. But if I'm not mistaken, the OG Carey guy wasn't even just recently released. It wasn't like he was just released a week ago. I feel like he might have been out for about 6 months or something along those lines. He was just still on parole. But he was out for a while. It wasn't like he had just got out. Like a day before or a week before or a month before. He had been out for a little minute. So that much I'm kind of almost sure on. So he had been out for a little minute, but for whatever reason on that day he wanted to come up there to get some clothes. And Nip was going to give him some clothes, you know what I'm saying, to help put him back on his feet. That's kind of odd to me. If you have been out for a while and you just now on a day after, you know, Nip was feeling pressure because he had brought DJ Khaled to the hood just recently, and people were upset that he wasn't extorted. You know, kind of makes you think, right? Okay, now also, we all know Nip and Big U had a fight. Up there, up at the Marathon store. They fought, and Blacc Sam up the burner and shot in the air. And police start shooting at Blacc Sam, you know, so he could get Big U off of Nip. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they said that was behind a bunch of different things, but really it kind of just all stood from Big U was upset that he had got cut out and Nip didn't need him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really play no purpose, you know, in what Nip was doing. You know, I saw guys say that, you know, Big U, every time Nip spoke, it meant something, because he a prophet. I've been said that in all my videos. Nip is a prophet, just like Malcolm X was a prophet, just like Martin Luther King was a prophet, Just like Yahshua was a prophet. Just like Tupac was a prophet. Them prophets, all time just repeats itself. We on a floating living rock that's going in a, you know, circular type motion around the burning star. Like, time repeats itself. You're gonna see the same things over and over again in different forms. Nip was a prophet, just point blank period. When his energy was released into the universe, anybody that's in tune felt it, and they knew what it was, and they knew what time it was. But every time Nip spoke, it meant something. You know what I'm saying? When he spoke for real, you know, of course he's on his hood time. We all be on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, but when he was really, like, you know, wanted to get a message across, his words were very powerful and it meant something. He was talking about Big U. When he was talking about setting up fights at the skating rink. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but I'm just saying you can see the difference in one meaning more to the culture, right? So I can understand that. And then this is just, you know, I'm just throwing this on there because, you know, sometimes, you know, Whack 100 has been caught lying before, so I don't know how much realism I can give this, but according to Whack 100, Baby Botafats had gotten to a squabble with Big U because he had kept pressing Nip, and Baby Botafats had dropped him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't knock him out, but he dropped him. You know what I'm saying? And then they say a week later, Baby Botafats had got unalived. You know, so but after that Blacc Sam interview, man, it definitely makes you look at that very strange, and I definitely could see how that could be perceived. And I'm for one of those people who I definitely think somebody was sent up there that Eric Holder was sent up there to unalive Nip. Somebody sent him. That wasn't just no random. And then, like Blacc Sam said, nobody finna come up there disrespecting Nip. Nobody finna come up there going against that. They knew the type of power Nip had, and you was gonna get beat up on the spot or whatever. You know what I'm saying? On the spot. He said it happened a million times. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was finna, everybody from the kids to the adults, they knew not to come up there playing. Like Nip had that type of pull in his section. You know what I'm saying? So for dude to feel like he could come up there and get that off, somebody had to press that button. That button had to be pressed, cause it had to be a high up button. It had to be a high up button pusher. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I seen a lot of stuff from Big U where it's like, bro, you can see a lot of different things from dude, like where you could tell it was some jealousy there, cause he compare himself to Nip too much. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm really from Crenshaw and all of that. You know, I'm just keeping it real. I mean, if you just got an observant eye, you could definitely see, no matter what, he can't lie and say he didn't have no jealousy in him for Nip. He can't say that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. As more information it'll come out. The truth will always come out, and we'll find out what's what. You know what I'm saying? But transition in peace to the great prophet Nip Hussle. And I'll probably do a part 2 on this at some point later on, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. It's the guy who's billionaire, big favor, big abundance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. This the guy who's billionaire, big favor, big abundance. I'm gone.